How can generative AI reshape the way that enterprises handle everything from data management to customer service? Well, today we're going to be diving deep into this topic with Adam Glaser from Appian. They're a company that's leading the charge in low-code platforms and AI-powered automation. And as the driving force behind Appian's innovative approach, Adam brings a wealth of knowledge on how generative AI is transforming enterprise solutions. From enhancing developer productivity to streamlining unstructured data processing, Appian's platform is proving to be somewhat of a game changer for businesses across multiple industries. So in today's episode of Tech Talks Daily, Adam will share how Appian's data fabric and AI tools are not only simplifying complex tasks, but also democratizing AI usage, empowering organizations to deploy sophisticated applications without needing an extensive data science team. And we'll also explore today real-world examples of how Appian's AI solutions are leading to significant productivity gains, cost savings, and more efficient document processing, all while addressing the challenges of AI implementation. So what does it take to make AI a true force multiplier in the enterprise space, and how can businesses leverage these technologies for success? Before we welcome our guest onto the podcast today, though, delivering daily content to 140,000 of you wonderful monthly listeners across the globe is no small feat. I don't want to take all the credit here because it wouldn't be possible without the backing of our dedicated sponsors and partners. I also want to shine a light on the fact that legacy managed file transfer tools are dated and lack the security that today's remote workforce often demands. And companies that continue relying on that outdated technology often are in danger of putting their sensitive data at risk. So in the world of secure file transfers, Kiteworks stands alone with their FedRAMP moderate authorized since 2017. It is now known as the gold standard in MFT security. And with yearly audits and continuous monitoring, Kiteworks doesn't just meet standards, it sets them. For example, if you need CMMC compliance, Kiteworks fast-tracks your authorization, saving you both time and money. You can step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks today by visiting kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com to get started today. But now it's time to dive into today's fascinating conversation with my guest. Well, buckle up and hold on tight, because no matter where you're listening in the world, it's time for me to beam your ears all the way to the US, where Adam's waiting to join us today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, hi, Neil. Thanks for having me. It's nice to meet you. My name is Adam Glaser, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Product Management at Appian. And for those listeners who might not have heard of us, I won't fault you. Appian is a process automation platform and a Gartner-recognized leader in the low-code application platform space. In fact, we were the first company to ever go public as a low-code company. So that's where we spend a lot of our focus.
And fast forward to 2024, everyone's talking about AI, generative AI, and what does this mean for me? What does this mean for my business? And right now on this podcast, every day, I try and get as many examples on here of how an organization is leveraging it and the kind of value they're getting as a result. So to begin with, to set the scene for our conversation today, how are you at Appian leveraging generative AI to address some of those productivity challenges that have, let's be honest, plagued businesses over the last decade and beyond?
First of all, no answer would be complete without talking about data. Unless you're trying to get help naming your kid's football team or plan a summer vacation, foundational models that are trained on the internet but know nothing about your business, its rules, or the data are not going to actually help you achieve the promise of real productivity that Gen AI has the potential for. And that's why the first thing we did is we invested a lot in the data story. Enterprise data is notoriously fragmented, difficult to bring together, difficult to make performant, secure according to all the different rules. There's a lot of data sovereignty even within a large organization. So Appian built a virtualized data layer. We call it a data fabric. We got it patented. And what that allows us to do is bring together data from disparate sources, but address it as if it's cohesive, as if it's one, data object in the system. And so with data fabric as the foundation, AI can start to be really useful. So to more directly address your question, the way that I think about it, I don't mean to oversimplify the potential for AI in the enterprise. One way to look at it is that it's a force multiplier. So it's a force multiplier for developers of applications. It's a force multiplier for the applications themselves. And it's a force multiplier for users of applications. And Appian is investing in all three at the same time. We're investing in capabilities that help low-code developers build and test and deploy their applications more quickly. We have invested in capabilities that those developers put inside of applications to do discrete tasks like structured and unstructured document extraction, personally identifiable information detection, summarization, sentiment analysis, things like that can be part of a workflow. And we've invested in capabilities that are delivered directly to users of applications through chat or similar interfaces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And just to bring this to life and understand how everything fits in, I mean, ultimately, Appian also sells solutions. So I'm curious, how do you decide what to sell, how to build it, and to ensure that you're providing the best solution for your client too?
Yeah, that's right. We, in addition to being a platform, we have a number of AI-powered solutions in spaces where we have expertise, where we believe that we have a differentiated take on what's out there, where the combination of kind of pre-built capabilities, AI-powered workflows, rules, interfaces, integrations, can be combined with the flexibility of the underlying platform to be extended and changed as necessary. It provides a real advantage to our customers. So in areas like government acquisition management, financial services, insurance, case management, we have seen a lot of traction at starting with a solution that gets you 80-90% of the way to the application you want, and then you have the power of the platform to make it bespoke, to make it unique.
And as someone who is talking with customers all around the world across so many different sectors at a time where so many enterprises are struggling to bridge the gap between anticipation and implementation of Gen AI, I'm curious, if you put all that into one big melting pot, what are the most common barriers that you've observed and how can they be overcome?
So I love this question, actually, because it gets at the heart of what I'm seeing, which is the interesting dichotomy between both unbridled expectations about AI and unbridled fear of AI at the same time. So on the expectations side, look, I think ChatGPT kind of came onto the stage in late 2022 and kind of set the world on fire, and people's imaginations went off and racing. It's not a perfect technology. It's not going to be right all the time. It should not be given kind of the keys to the castle, so to speak. It has a lot of disruptive potential, and it has a lot of productivity possibilities, but not harnessed properly, not provided with the right data, not secured properly, not performant enough, it's not going to necessarily lead to better outcomes. That has to be carefully managed. And on the fear side, there was a lot of talk of AI, taking jobs away, of AI, exploiting your data, of AI, learning too much, of becoming Skynet and coming online. And I think those need to be managed as well. So when we talk to customers, we try to do both at the same time. We try to level set on expectations, right, of what AI can do and what it shouldn't be used to do. And we try to address some of the fears, some of the uncertainty around how you can use AI in an enterprise without running afoul of things that enterprises would be right to worry about: the privacy of their data, the uniqueness of their intellectual property, and things like that.
And a big question here, I mean, how does Gen AI also enhance the capabilities of internal chatbots? We've all had good experiences and bad experiences with them, but how is it enhancing their capabilities, and what kind of impact have you seen on things like employee productivity as a result?
It has been a game changer. Obviously, I mean, anyone who's ever gone to a customer support website knows chatbots are not new, but they have become so much more capable thanks to generative AI. Is it okay if I give an example?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think bringing it down to concrete really helps. So one of our customers is a large university here on the East Coast, and they built a generative AI powered chatbot to help their student academic advisors with case management tasks like, understanding the student's history, creating action plans, suggesting agendas for student meetings, generating draft messages to send to students. And if you think about it, this was pivotal because they have 50,000 students and only hundreds of advisors. And so the difficulty of tracking students and creating a real connection with them left them feeling overworked and the students feeling underserved. Just imagine trying to prep for a student conversation in 5 minutes, between one meeting and the next. So we had a real productivity challenge. So it took them 2 months to build and deploy the solution. And as a result, they're able to leverage Gen AI both to save the advisor's time and to improve the quality of student support. So they have a person there that's a vice president of digital transformation, which apparently is a real role in academia these days. And she asserts that this will actually improve graduation rates. So a lot of people talk about Gen AI in the enterprise as, increasing the bottom line or things like that. But here's an example of Gen AI really doing some social good.
And although it's AI getting all the headlines in our news feeds, as you said a few moments ago, it's actually all about data. So in what ways are you, Appian, helping enterprises convert unstructured data into actionable insights? And are there any other real-world examples of success that you've seen in this area?
Yeah, I've got tons of examples. I think it's the best way to understand it. So prior to Gen AI, unstructured data was kind of the scourge of achieving the benefits of automation. Because if you think about things like emails or contracts or photographs, the variability was too much for traditional OCR methods to handle. So organizations resorted to using human capital to power those processes. Then Gen AI comes along, and it turns out that's very good in this space. So by making these AI capabilities readily available to developers of enterprise applications, we're really unlocking the potential for the tremendous business value in terms of insight and efficiency. So I'll give you an example. One of our customers, a very large financial services company, was grappling with a very manual and time-consuming process for handling case creation issues, failures, and whatnot. So emails would come flooding in, alerting users to issues, and the team had to manually triage each one. So this was a bottleneck that obviously hindered the efficiency of these caseworkers, but also customer satisfaction, which we know is critical to any service-oriented company. So to address this, they implemented a process using Appian's AI-powered email classification skill, which automatically identifies the reason for case creation failure or challenge and eliminates the need for manual review. And so now they can act much more quickly on these issues, resolving them faster. They can handle a bigger caseload, and they get better customer experience results to boot. And the cool part about this story is that we actually track the performance of these skills. They were able to achieve 98% accuracy on classification with only providing 220 or 230 some odd training examples. So, a little bit of effort by a non-data scientist, a low-code developer, was able to achieve this kind of revolution in productivity.
And as a result, AI is rapidly transforming customer service operations all around the world right now. So how is Appian's approach, would you say, be different from conventional methods? And what kind of benefits are you seeing here?
So the way that I like to think about it, Appian is kind of a next generation development platform, Appian and others like us, for the modern cloud native enterprise with AI at its core, which is to say AI is not a feature, it's a cross-functional capability. So one way of several that our approach is different is that by being a low-code platform, we're lowering the barrier to entry of adopting AI because low-code is faster and more accessible to less technical audiences than traditional software development approaches. So effectively, we're opening the doors for more AI-powered applications. We've seen large enterprises, Fortune 2000 enterprises, deploy AI-powered applications without having a data science team or using a single data scientist. And that's part of the promise of low code, is that it abstracts away and it elevates the capability, so you don't have to worry about the underlying complexity, but you can still avail yourself of the benefit. So by embedding the LLM capability into the platform, a lot of the details that would plague a development team if they tried to build such an application from the ground up, like which foundational model should I use, or how do I connect to it, or how do I secure the data, is taken care of by the platform itself. So it has the benefit, in my opinion, of really democratizing Gen AI usage for a whole new generation of application developers. And as I mentioned at the start, we're also extremely focused on making it fast and easy to connect to all that latent enterprise data, bring it together, rationalize it, and then unleash the value of generative AI on top of it.
And I think one of the most exciting aspects of Gen AI for me is removing some of those pain points from corporate life. And anyone who is still trying to find an email hidden in a subfolder somewhere, or a document that they don't know where it's saved, is one of those pain points that we'd all love to see the back of. So can you share how Appian's Gen AI tools are actually turbocharging things like document extraction and classification processes, all those pain points, and what this means for data management and analysis and all those great things that we kind of take for granted?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been doing document processing as part of our platform for years using more traditional OCR services, but now with the advent of Gen AI, it's being given even more flexibility and more power. We have one customer who's automating insurance quotes, and the range of document formats that they get from their network of brokers is just so diverse that traditional OCR methods didn't work. So Gen AI lets them handle all those one-off variations so they could get a standard output, and makes the downstream processing of those quotes much more efficient. You know, the way I like to think about it, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think Gen AI is a feature, it's a capability. And the best solution, if you really want to turbocharge these types of use cases, is to have a mix of tools, document processing tools, so you can apply the right method to each situation, whether it's structured or semi-structured or unstructured. And Gen AI makes it possible to handle even more of those use cases. So another example, a really good customer of ours is a US-based fire protection manufacturing company. And before using Gen AI, their accounts payable team process was highly manual and inefficient. So they had 11, 12 people handling over 10,000 invoices on a given year, and order acknowledgement in email-based, slow, error-prone processes. So then they brought in document classification to classify the documents based on vendor priority. Then they apply document extraction on top of that to get the accounts payable information out. Then they use other capabilities in the platform to automatically search their accounting system, which happened to be Microsoft Dynamics, and compare the data against all the different records and automatically update it where they find matches, or, as is important with some of these AI-powered processes, bring the human into the loop where they actually didn't find a match. And when we talked to them, they estimated a direct savings in terms of time spent on their manual document processing of something like 7,000 or 8,000 hours per year. And they're going to get additional discounts by paying on time and ingesting invoices more quickly, to the tune of something like $500,000 a year, again, to that bottom line argument. So they've really seen the benefit of having multiple types of AI that they can bring to bear on a diverse set of documents in a specific use case.
And there are many business leaders and people listening to our conversation today currently trying to make sense of what Gen AI means to their organization, how they can use it, etc. So with the vast potential of Gen AI that we're all talking about here, what would your top recommendations be for a business leader from an organization looking to unlock its value and drive meaningful transformation? Any tips or advice that you would offer there?
Well, the first thing I would say is get educated about the strengths and practical applications of generative AI. It's really useful to have a goal, a business outcome that you're hoping to achieve. If you roll the clock back to early last year, a couple months after ChatGPT launched and blew everyone's mind, I can't tell you how many discussions I had with enterprise leaders that went something like, I need to do anything with generative AI. This is a board level initiative, right? So, they were looking at it as a solution in search of a problem. Now, if you roll the clock forward, the conversation has changed. People are coming to us saying, we need to reduce processing time, or we need to increase customer satisfaction. How can Gen AI help? And I think that's a really positive step in a very short amount of time, probably faster, a faster evolution of people's understanding about how to grapple with a new technology than I've seen in many different technology waves. Organizational leaders have largely moved past the fear that Gen AI is going to replace their workers, which, as I mentioned earlier, it won't. The way I like to talk about it is, Gen AI isn't going to be the hero of the story, but it definitely can be one of the hero's superpowers. And so being able to recognize it for what role it has in a transformation, in a process, in an application, and what role it doesn't is critical to getting off and running with the potential for Gen AI.
100% with you. I'd also say I don't believe everything it says. I was doing a little research for an article earlier, and I was trying to find a stat on exactly how many users a platform had, and my Google results were saying anywhere between 8 and 15 million. So I went to Claude AI and said, can you confirm how many users this platform has? And it said 50 million. And I said, okay, can you give me a reliable source for this 50 million stat you just found? And he actually replied with, I've just realised I don't have a reliable source for the stat I give you, as I mentioned, which the brutal honesty, it just lied to me there, it doesn't even hide it. But I'm curious, looking back at your experiences here, what are the funniest or most interesting stories that you've come across?
Oh gosh, I don't know that I have a funny AI story just yet. I'll tell you an interesting story, something that made me appreciate, the kind of work we get to do. I can't say what customer it was, but we had promised a customer a pretty important feature, something I try not to do as a platform company, except when it's really critical to that customer. So I promised them a feature that they needed as part of their critical business processes. I promised it on a certain date. I had all the estimates in hand, and we blew it big time. I mean, if you know software, you know that estimates are only ever wrong in one direction. It's the unfortunate direction. And so this customer, they were obviously quite concerned. But we shifted into working very closely with them. I gave them weekly status updates. We were on calls with them all the time. And we're worried the customer's not going to renew. They're really upset with us. When we finally delivered the feature, they flew up to our headquarters and they threw my team a pizza party for delivering that feature. And what they said was, nobody's perfect. We struggle with this as well. And it taught me the difference between being a software vendor and a technology partner. And I'll never forget that.
Absolutely love it. And for anyone listening that's just enjoyed our conversation today, maybe they want to dig a little bit deeper and feel a little bit relieved that there is help out there. What's the best place for anyone to find you, your team online, or just find out more information about anything we talked about?
Yeah, thanks. So you can learn about Appian. I've mentioned some of our capabilities throughout this conversation and our platform and solutions on our website, which is www.appian with 2 P's, appian.com. And you can find me and connect with me on LinkedIn by searching for Adam Glaser, Glaser, and Appian, and I'll come right up.
Well, as I said at the very beginning of our conversation today, a lot of hype around this technology at the moment, but hearing your stories about boosting employee productivity, converting unstructured data into actionable insights, streamlining and personalizing customer service operations. But more than anything, I think it was those real-world use cases that brought everything to life today. So big thank you for sharing your insights.
No, my pleasure. It was great talking to you.
So as we heard from Adam today, the potential for generative AI in the enterprise space is immense. And Appian's approach to low-code platforms and AI-enhanced automation is opening new doors for businesses, ultimately making it easier for them to harness the power of AI without getting bogged down in complexity. So from transforming document processing to improving customer service operations, Appian's real-world implementations, I think, demonstrate that AI can be a powerful tool for both efficiency and innovation. And that's where the magic happens. It's so much more valuable than the hype that we often see and hear. And a big thank you to Adam for highlighting the importance on focusing on specific business outcomes when implementing AI, reminding us that, yes, technology is powerful, but it is the strategic application that truly makes the difference. And as you and your organisation look to the future, integrating AI into your processes is going to be crucial. And I'd love to hear your thoughts from today's discussion. Will you implement anything that you've learned today? How can you unlock the potential of AI to drive your business forward? Maybe you're doing something different already. Maybe you'd like to share that with me. As always, email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC. Hughes. But please stay tuned for more insights on how technology will continue to shape the future of work and beyond by tuning in tomorrow. I'm going to be here with another guest, hoping to speak with you. But thanks for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.